going through for my personal page again. I'll share it on
I see it. Yep.
the business. Okay. You see us live? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, folks. Well, welcome to Quantum Leap Live. My name's David and this is Cory, and we have a special guest today, Bob Arzt, and he's a business coach, and you know he's also written a great book on sales, which we'll probably talk more about next year. A number of the themes in my book are things related to Bob, so we wanted to kind of have him on to really revisit some of these themes. And I'm going to send him the book, and we'll talk more about it once it's out. But Cory, if you don't mind just introducing yourself and just telling us how you know Bob as well. Or I know you're also kind of a similar coach, but a little bit different clientele. Yeah.
Yeah. Coaching, right? It encompasses a lot. Well, I am Cory Knott, and I am co-founder of Take Wing Coaching. I do executive life coaching for partnerships. So I work on the relationship between business partners. So I specifically work with two or more people in a business who are trying to get along and do want to do it better. Uh, So yeah, my style of coaching would definitely be different than Bob's, and often I recommend people, look up Bob, refer them to Bob, especially if they're in the financial industry, because there's a lot to do. I was just working with two partners who are in the financial industry, and they're starting to scale, and that's putting a strain on their relationship. And while I can help them with the relationship part, that scaling part in finance is a real challenge, right? You have to start hiring, you have to start thinking about, improving your operations, and that's where, Bob can come in and work on that and also help them, especially because as you scale, you have to start thinking more about sales. You have to start thinking, maybe some people are starting to have to put on more hats, and which is the opposite of the direction they should go. So that's where you need that kind of coach who can really say, hey, it's the wrong direction. Let's go this way and see how this works out. So that's where Bob is really amazing at his work. And a lot of people get into these industries who don't want to do sales, and that's where Bob can also really help because they learn an authentic sales system for especially for financial providers. But it works for anyone. I've read it.
Yeah, great setup, Cory. And I'll let Bob tell his story. I will just say, if you look at his background, in sales, so, there's not that many coaches that have his sales background. I find some of the best coaches and what people need coaching on is sales, but he also has a unique approach with the calendar and, like Cory said, the financial services industry. But I'm going to turn it over to you, Bob, to tell us a little bit about your background, your story, and kind of where you fit in the coaching landscape in terms of your philosophy and clientele.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you, David and Cory. Appreciate you having me on the show today. So I got my start in business in a little bit of a weird way, and I have to go into a little bit of a back story. My dad passed away when I was 18 years old, and he had cancer for over 20 years. He picked it up in the service. And the last job he had was selling life insurance. Unfortunately, he got into the service. He was insurable. He came out of the service uninsurable.
Mhm.
So one day we had a conversation just prior to his death, and he said if he had to live his life all over again, he wished he would have gotten into financial services first.
Mhm.
Well, it took me a number of years to finally get into financial services, and then I found life insurance is how I got my start. And I understood what it means if someone dies without life insurance. It's my sister, my mom, and I, and we had to, sell the house and do all sorts of things, finance college. But I got into financial services in 1976, and the agency I went to work for was one of the best in that company. And they said, if you just do what we tell you to do, you'll be successful. And Cory and Dave, I was just young enough and frankly dumb enough to just listen to them. And it worked out really well. Qualified for all sorts of clubs and honors, got into management that led to a corporate career where one of my positions was as a regional vice president. And I was responsible for half of our company's 65 offices. So I traveled around a lot. I saw the good, the bad, and the ugly with management and sales. And fast forwarding a little bit, I decided to start my own coaching practice. And this January, it'll be tw 24 years that I'm doing that. But my passion is helping people who know that they can do better. For me, when I got involved in insurance sales, it opened up a whole world to me. When someone believes in you and they have some methodologies that work, you could move mountains. And so my goal is to help people become all that they're capable of becoming.
Excellent. And since you answer a second question in that one, I wanted to have a wild card question that I forgot to throw at you in the crib sheet about just tell us a little bit about your book on you've written a book on sales and kind of your where the weaknesses maybe people are in sales and how you kind of help them via the book or via your coaching.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah. So in my travels around, I discovered some interesting things. An idea that worked in one place, if applied in a different place, might not work there. So some things work and some things don't work. And my goal as a coach is to help people find the way that works for them because we all have different personalities. So in writing that book, what every great salesperson knows, a no-nonsense guide to sales success, we discovered 15 what we call sales success factors, and they fall into a couple of different categories. So for example, mastery of self, mastery of your own business, mastery of customer service. Those are some of the big categories. And we have devised just certain processes that have worked over the years that people can employ because you never, as a business owner, entrepreneur, solopreneur, or reluctantpreneur, you never want to solve the same problem twice. And I have found 85% of the problems that exist out there are process problems, and only 15% are people problems. Now, Cory might think it's more than the 15%, but I will tell you, people problems are the most difficult, challenging problems. One of my subspecialties, again, based on my work in the insurance industry, is working with spouses, children, and siblings who are in the same business.
Mhm.
And they have interesting backstories and old tapes that play in their head. So you could be 55 years old, but you're still someone's kid, and you're still the kid that did something when he was 15 years old that you don't like.
Right.
And if you're in business together, you have to get past that. So that was the genesis of the book. It's not meant to be read cover to cover. I have a little bit of an assessment. So each of those 15 sales success factors have 5 questions. So a 75 question assessment. You could then go to the particular chapter. There's 15 chapters, one dealing with each of the sales success factors. And the chapter is broken down into telling you what that factor is, what it isn't, how do you know if you have it or not, some real practical suggestions on how to improve, and then every chapter has at least one, if not two, case studies from my actual coaching practice.
Great. Um, I'll put the link to your website and I'll look for I know there's a link on your website to pick up the book. I believe it's also available on Amazon too. Is that correct?
Available on Amazon, and we have to pay for it there, but you could download a free PDF copy from my website.
Okay. We already got a early Christmas gift there, folks, if you want to get his book. And it's great to just have it around and kind of it gives you some new approaches. I have a PDF of it and I really like that. And Jason Cutter's book on sales. So maybe we'll dive into a few of those themes a little bit in depth more next time. I did want to kind of switch topics here because, you are a very business process oriented coach, which is great. And I think your organization and kind of the order you can bring to people is something that really stands out to me. And I know we did a seminar with you, it was probably almost 2 years ago now, on how to bring efficiency to your calendar. And I thought you were really an expert in this because the kind of sales that you do. But if you don't mind just telling us a little bit about the importance of your calendar and how to kind of get started sorting that out if you are finding a lot of chaos in your calendar, so to speak. Yeah.
Great question. And I guess most people find me due to time management and organization issues. So I tell people there's 4 traits of highly successful people, which are goal clarity, achievement drive, emotional intelligence, and social skills. And the one area most people score themselves the lowest in is goal clarity. Because without crystal clear goal clarity, you become subject to distractions. Those distractions lead to a loss of focus. And it's actually the loss of focus that prevents people from achieving not only what they want to achieve, but also within the time frame they want to achieve it. And as important as goal clarity is, there's something even more important than that, and that's the why behind the goal. If the why is not strong enough, there's just not enough achievement drive that's released to help you pass the rough spots. So how does this relate to time management? Well, once you have your goals set and there's a strong why behind it, we then could reverse engineer all the things you need to do to achieve your goal. Most people might come up with that without a problem. The problem is, where do you find the time to do all the things you need to do? And most people are busy and they have a to-do list and they even organize it and they say, I'll squeeze it in when I have the time, but they never find the time. Or if they do, they look at their watch and they say, well, I got 10 minutes. I'll do item 23. So they do item 23, they check it off the list. They feel great, right? But they never get to the important items. So time blocking allows you to carve up your work day, your work week in such a way that you make the time to do all the things that you need to do. The dilemma here is if you allow yourself to be interrupted by other things, you need to create these time blocks and keep those appointments as if they were with your very best client. And that's a challenge for lots of people to do. So what do these blocks look like? I always believe that you should do what I call laser planning. 10 or 15 minutes, either first thing in the morning or at the end of the day. Some people do it at both ends, where you just say, okay, what happened yesterday? What got done? What got checked off the list? Great. What didn't get done? When am I going to schedule in my calendar the time to do the thing I didn't get done? Then what's going on today? What's going on this week? What's coming up next week? Because you never want to be surprised. So that's laser planning. But then you might have other blocks of time, like administrative blocks. That could be meeting with an assistant. It could be billing. It could be other paperwork. Depending on the business that you're in, you might need to have time to create proposals to keep your business going. So there might be a proposal time. You want to stay sharp in your industry, right? You got to keep up with everything. So there might be business, professional development time. Business development, yeah, you got to market. Many different ways to do that now. So you got to figure out which way works for you and allow the time to do it. I also believe you should, in the ideal perfect world, schedule at least 2 to 4 hours consecutive time once a week of working on your business, not in your business. And sometimes you need to start with 15 or 20 minutes and ratchet it up to a couple of hours. For me, it takes me 30 to 45 minutes for my brain to kind of settle down so I could focus on something. So those are some of the blocks that most people have. I have some attorney clients whose work gets so busy and crowded during the day that they don't have time to actually do their work. They're in meetings, they're in consultations. So I often suggest you create what I call fail-safe time.
Mhm.
So for these attorneys, often it's from 3 to 5 every afternoon. They don't schedule anything. For my business, for many years, even to this day, on Fridays from 12 o'clock on, I don't schedule anything. Because when your week blows up, which they do often, you don't want to panic over when am I going to find the time to get X, Y, or Z done. I always know that I have Friday afternoons for fail-safe time. Now, this might be hard to believe, but sometimes my clients have to cancel appointments and we've got to move things around. I need the space in my calendar to accommodate that because I don't want to say, yeah, I could squeeze you in again 3 weeks from now, right? So you want to be as responsive as you can. Speaking of responsiveness, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the one area that probably causes more problems for more people, and that's email. And it goes something like this. I'm going to get up super early tomorrow. I have a lot of work to do. I get into the office early. I turn on my computer. I open my email. And before I know it, it's 1:30 in the afternoon and I haven't gotten anything done that I want to get done. So prioritize your tasks. When is your body clock most focused to do the work that needs concentration? So oftentimes email is being done in the morning hours, and for most people, they're just more productive in the morning. If you're not, you're more productive in the afternoon, flip it around. But you always need to ask yourself the question, what is the highest and best use of your time right now, even this hour, or today, or this week, to accomplish the goals that I want to accomplish? So now I'm going to go full circle. The best way you're able to answer that question is if your goals are really clear, right? If you don't know where you're going, you know, the saying is any road will get you there. I find many people aim at nothing, yet hit that bullseye with amazing accuracy, right? So you are investing your time in these time blocks.
Mhm.
You want a return on that investment of time. It's just like investing money. So you have to just do it on purpose. The goal clarity is important, and then blocking the time to make sure you have enough time to do the specific things you need to do.
Excellent. And I still follow a lot of the stuff you taught me in that seminar. And as you were going through that, I remembered some of the things that I do that are habits now. And that's where I got them. I got them from you. So I think it's, highly valuable. I know Corey has made a lot of strides on his calendar too. So I'll let him share if he has a testimonial there. But I did want to turn over to Corey for follow up. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that, I mean, I'm high ADHD, so there's other ways sometimes that we deal with with certain things. It's easy for me to jump in and immediately focus on something, but then also get distracted. So it's sort of it's an interesting, like, I don't usually need a wind up time to get my mind around something, but I have to actually practice focusing on that thing, which is a real challenge. If you've seen those videos lately, I've been seeing some lately that explain it so well, where the woman actually ties herself to the dishwasher, right? She has like a tether. So as she's unloading it and thinks of something else, she walks away and is pulled right back. And there's other people kind of doing the same thing. And the computer makes it hard because you can't tie yourself to a screen. Um, but yeah, no, calendaring is so important. And early in my career as a software developer, I wasn't as focused on my calendar. I always kept it in my head, and after a while, that becomes impossible. And some people think they can still do that, and it's just like give it up. Put it on paper or on your electronic calendar, because then you don't have to think about it, right? Take it out of your head. So, Bob's time blocking is great, and highly recommend anybody at least, taking a stab at those things and getting better at that habit. Um, I think we kind of covered a lot of the questions that were at the end, right? Your why and what drives you, common challenges. But I would ask you, even your ideal clients, but I would ask you, what advice would you give to new, let's say, business coaches in the industry? Because there's a lot of them kind of coming in, and I still do certification classes and things, and it's just interesting to see how many people are coming into it, but then kind of either fade away or, they struggle a lot. And you've been at it for a long time, so love to hear your advice.
So I guess everyone goes through a period of time when you're trying to figure out who you are,
Right,
right? And where your niche is.
right.
Um, I was fortunate in that I came from an industry where I already had a bit of a reputation, so that's where I got
That helps. Yeah,
started.
right,
And I wanted to leverage that.
right.
But for someone's coming into coaching, I would think they should find a niche or two to at least experiment with where they feel the most comfortable.
Hmm.
And then I would tell them to go very deep into that niche.
Mm,
What I mean by that is be everywhere there is to be within that niche.
right,
So if it's in an industry or a vertical, join an association that's those where those people are.
right.
I tell people it's like fishing, and you could fish in 5 ponds, and each of those ponds has your ideal client in it, but one pond has a preponderance of your ideal client.
Right.
Forget about the other 4 ponds. Go for the big one. But then show up, be active, be visible, write articles for their publications. You're gonna have to spend some money. Exhibit if you can. Have a
Mm,
booth. Support them in any way that you can. Who said it? Woody Allen. 90% of life or business is showing up.
right.
And so you need to do that on a consistent basis. And then be authentic. Uh, People understand when you're not. So you just have to be yourself, get comfortable in your own skin. Then, of course, you need to be professional. You need to be a student of your business. It's not surface level. You have to go deep.
Hmm.
And the other thing that I would say in B&I, there's the expression givers gain. The more you give away, the more value you give to people, the more will come back to you. It's just the way it works. So be generous of time and spirit.
Very good. Yeah, yeah. And like when you say show up, it's not show up everywhere. Show up where your clients are, right? Your potential clients are. Yeah, because some people try to show up everywhere, and that gets exhausting. I know I've done that in the past. Great. Well, thank you. And I don't think I have anything else. We're actually coming up to
Yeah,
time.
yeah, great. Yeah, we're just about at time, so I may have a referral for you, Bob. I'll double check. But if you don't mind just leaving us with who are you looking to work with out there? Who's kind of your ideal client? Maybe we already touched on it, but let's we like to end on that if we can. Shorter
Absolutely.
version, yeah.
So people, solopreneurs and entrepreneurs and business owners is a big category of my ideal clients. Now, I work with small companies as well as big companies, but as a coach, and Cory will appreciate this, we don't do the work. The client does the work. So an ideal client for me would be someone that has a goal they're trying to achieve. They're willing to maybe try things a little bit differently to achieve the results that they want. Again, for me, it's any vertical works for me. I have a pretty wide range of clients, from plumbers to chiropractors to financial advisors to web designers. It's all over the board. Um, but people who are open and willing to want to make a change to improve.
Great. And folks, if you want kind of low commitment way to meet Bob in person, so to speak. He does have a great business networking chapter in Oakland that he's a member of called Success Link, and you can go on the BNI website and find it there, or reach out to him if you want to come visit a meeting or schedule a consultation. And I know you're also active in the Alameda Chamber of Commerce too, so can maybe find him in an event of that organization too. So one of the better known, well run chambers around the Bay Area. So, yeah.
Thanks, David. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say, in addition to my free book, I offer a free 45-minute coaching session. People could sign up on my website.
Okay, great. I'm going to put that link in the comments, and thanks for coming on. I look forward to connecting with you soon, and kind of looking at getting you back on the calendar for sometime next year. So,
My pleasure. Thank you both. Appreciate you.
Hey, Bob.
yep. Thank
David.
you. Thanks a lot. Great work, folks.